My name is Josep Grau. I'm a lecturer in the Institute for Sustainable Heritage, where I'm the assistant course director of the SIHA MRes, that's Science and Engineering in Arts, Heritage and Archaeology. Some years ago, when I started my PhD, I didn't have a plan, which I would have greatly needed, to be honest, and we are trying to improve that. Now all our master students have to do a research data management plan as their first assignment. So when they plan the project and when they start thinking about which kind of research they want to do, they also need to start thinking about a data management plan. The main challenge is that we are not using a single technology. Most of our students are reliant in whatever technology used beforehand, so everyone would use Dropbox, for example, some of them Google Drive, and it's really difficult to change the habits of people, and that brings about problems in collaboration. If suddenly two groups of students need to work together, there's always an adaptation period, or they need to find an average, which is something perhaps that won't have continuity. So I think technology is our main barrier, to be honest. We do encourage our students to share the data they produce. Our department has been growing rapidly in number of students, and we work in a very wide diversity of topics. So what used to happen is that there was little overlap between projects, and the need of sharing the data didn't emerge. And we are realizing now that we are missing an opportunity if we don't prepare the data in a way that other students next year will be able to continue working with. And that's a big need for us, because a lot of our research is done by master students, and they stay here only for a year or two. So it's crucial that the data can be shared between cohorts of students. There is already in the UK a service called the Archaeology data service that many researchers in archaeology and some researchers in heritage science and conservation can use. But this service wouldn't cover a lot of the data that we produce, which is sometimes much more analytical, for example, or has components of simulation that are not generally covered by traditional archaeology and that are perhaps a little bit more scientific. So we would like a service like this to exist, and in fact it's something that we are starting to think in establishing ourselves, or at least doing research on how this data service could be provided, because I think we produce enough data now in the field of heritage science that the repository could be useful for other researchers in other institutions. In order to achieve a culture of proper data management amongst our students and our researchers, what we've tried until now is to provide some training at the beginning of the year. Typically, what the students comment of this training, it's common sense. Of course they know that it's very important to keep your data well documented. It's important to keep a backup of all your research experiments. And they feel that the technical knowledge they gain from such a course is not hugely important. However, I think the benefit of doing such courses, it's for us not specifically what tips and hints we give them on how to manage the data, but that we plant the idea in the heads of the students very early on in their careers that this is an important topic to worry about. I think there was years ago at the universities in scientific degrees, it was very common to worry a lot about proper record keeping with lab notebooks. And I think this is being lost a little bit, and it perhaps is, because it's so easy to collect a lot of data. People has worried about doing it properly, and perhaps all this old tradition of proper lab bookkeeping should be updated and replaced with proper data management and creation of proper metadata and so on. But it's a matter of trying to create the culture, I think.